office hours. We're gonna be talking for less than an hour. Most likely, most likely, most likely. Why is my stream not coming up? Oh, there we go. I think it's going. Come on. We got a schedule to stick to. People are waiting. No, they aren't. Come on. Is my stream live? I'm not seeing anything. Close. There it is. Live. I'm not. All right. Aren't my intros so good for streams? Like, aren't I like a professional streamer? It's really cool, isn't it? All right. Let's go ahead and look at the news while we see if anybody shows up today. If not, I'm probably just going to be doing some research, some reading. This one's going to probably be cut short. Oh shit! Someone's actually watching. That's something surprising. Well, maybe they'll come back. Sadness. They probably just poked in probably one of the subscribers that saw that I was doing something. Anyway, what are we doing? Right, so I want to play Helldivers today. So this is going to end by 8, almost certainly. Let's see if anything's in the news today. Let me bring down the chat window here. Nothing in chat. All right, we'll come back to you in a minute, chat window. Bigger. Bigger's better. There we go. That doesn't look right. Good shit. All right, let's see what's going on. Ooh, ransomware named after a cat. I have to read that. Zero trust guidance. No one cares. 2 new iOS. Oh, that's not surprising. How bad are they? I'm curious. Microsoft is killing off Android apps. Why? Literally, why? First of all, I didn't even know you could run Android apps on Windows. I guess you can, but why would you like make it so you can't run them? Sanctions. Sounds like there's not too much going on. Let's go ahead and take a look at it once I clicked on it. While we're waiting to see if anyone shows up today. Black Cat Ransomware. The Black Cat Ransomware game is pulling an exit scam. Ooh, that's juicy. So what do they... I don't know much about this group. Hacker forum. Well, obviously they're making their money off ransomware. They're announced they're selling the source code for the malware. The ransomware game started the exit scam operation on Friday, when they took their Tor data leak blog offline. On Monday, they further shut down negotiation servers, saying they had decided to turn everything off amid complaints from an affiliate that the operators stole $20 million. GG. Extracted from an archive. Well, that'll be interesting to watch how that evolves. So it sounds like there could be, because they're saying the Fed screwed them over. So it sounds like there could be an insider here at some point, which may be why they want to take this offline now, which makes sense. Oh, they were the Colonial Pipeline people. That's right. I remember these guys. All right, very cool. All right. So some news in the takedown field. Let's see. We got 2 0 days on iPhones. What were these all about? In the kernel, RT kits, allowing attackers with arbitrary kernel read and write capabilities to bypass kernel memory protections. Hold on. Wait, what? they have arbitrary read and write capabilities, and they can bypass the kernel memory protections. That doesn't make sense, but says it addressed. Affects almost all iPhones. Last year, yeah, likely used in targeted attacks. Installing today's circuits. Okay. And we don't know if it's exploited in the wild. I'm willing to bet it is, because it sounds like it was used in targeted attacks. Or at least they're saying it may be. I don't know whether that's speculation or whether that's something they heard from Apple. But yeah. Not chat yet. Okay. Well, your usual kind of kernel flaws, I guess. Do they have any more info on these? Let me read these CVs. What are they about? Well, that's the blog post. Do I have... Oh, maybe Tenable will help me out here. A memory corruption issue was addressed with improved validation. May be able to bypass... Okay, so it sounds like there's some kind of memory corruption there. What that actually... How that could actually be exploitable is kind of... I mean, you have to be kind of creative with it, right? Because, with memory corruption, you could end up just corrupting the machine, So I assume that this would use some kind of like buffer overflow exploit or something like that to kind of insert something into main memory. It doesn't say buffer overflow, so that's probably the wrong term, but it's something like that where you want to fit in code into some kind of place in memory that you're not supposed to have access to. Okay, so that's so it looks like one was just a memory corruption, but like you could literally just corrupt memory if you use the right things. It doesn't give you more details for probably a good reason. What else do they have here? Let's see what Tenable over here. Memory. Oh, same thing. Also memory corruption. Okay, so I guess two different parts of the kernel with memory corruption. It doesn't look like there's much more info on here besides the blog post. Let's see what Apple says about it. Privacy issue. So they're just saying privacy, like you could access stuff that you're not allowed to. Is aware of a report that this may have been exploited. Could you share that report? Of course you can. Because then that would mean that everyone knows, but damn, I would love to know. Okay. All right, pretty cool. Let me see if I can... Hold on. Can we maybe find the report of that? Let's try this. See if we can find an exploit on GitHub or something like that. Advisories, cross-site scripting. Is this it? 2024-23725? No, that's not right. Let's try Google. Google will do it correctly. Cacti, let's unauthenticate users. That's an old CVA, though. Okay, so they're definitely not on GitHub. Let's try just exploit. Two were exploited. Does this have no information? Two reportedly exploited, and of course not, just reportedly exploited, but no report. Wait, is this who discovered it? Christian Dinka of... I guess that's who discovered it, some dude in Romania. Let's see if we can look at him. Maybe he posted about it. Well, that's just gonna take me... let's just try Christian Dinka. Well, that doesn't help. Let's go back. Let's try that. Christian Dinka, here we go. Oh, this is a this is a boot camp site. Okay, so this is where I guess he learned how to do his stuff. Let's see this one, full disclosure. Let's see here. No, it's just reporting the issue. All right. That's a shame. Well, hopefully we'll see a cool exploit video of that sometime in the future. Very cool. Always nice to see 0 days. It's always a cause for relaxation and happiness, right? Okay, let's see this one, because this is one that kind of caught me off guard. First off, how can you run Android apps? Subsystem for Android. Oh, they have a WSL for Android? I guess that makes sense, right? It's Linux, so. They fucked up the link. Released in 2021. Allowed you to install apps from the Amazon App Store. Says they are ending support March 25th, 2025. So we still got a year. Windows apps, Amazon App Store on Windows. Really? So there's an Amazon app and they're still discontinued? That seems so strange. I would think Amazon would be raising hell about this right now. If that was, well, maybe they are, and I just haven't been paying attention. Didn't know about any of this shit. So they're ending support. They say why? Microsoft is ending support as a result, and all come blah blah blah. But why? Like, literally, why? Is it because no one's using it? That's the only thing I think of, because I didn't know about this. Maybe no one's using it, but Amazon App Store will then appear in Windows. No, that's just for the Amazon App Store. So I guess they're either going to have to change how that gets installed. It's no longer. Wow. Huh, well, that's kind of a shame. I guess you'd really only kind of have to. Good comment. I guess you really only have to. Guess you're gonna have to run a VM for Android. That kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. I really like the subsystem stuff that they did for Windows, even though everybody is kind of saying it's kind of this, right? And I get that it's probably that. But it's just so freaking convenient to have like a Linux box right there for work. I mean, I obviously I could just like install Linux at work, but like, then I'm not going to be using what the user is using. I'm going to have to make special requests to IT. It's a pain in the ass. Whereas subsystem for Linux, just have it right there for work. And it's awesome. This is also a good comment. What a joke! Removing an optional feature before it even had a chance for it. That's how I feel. I didn't even know about this shit, and you're getting rid of it. Ugh. I hate software. That's why I'm not a programmer, and that's why I teach programming. Anyway, okay, so it's looking like no one's showing up so far. Ooh, isn't that cool? I'm watching myself in the past. What do we want to do? Oh, I guess I want to research that more on EXT file systems, because we had another research question this week. If anybody happens to be watching this later, this is for my digital forensics class. And we had a research question last week that asked you to kind of start investigating file systems. Just like last time, one was kind of passed up on, which is, expected. But it looks like there was no love for EXT, which is, of course, the Linux file system. Well, not just Linux. You could use it for other stuff, too. But it's most frequently used with Linux. Although, to be honest, I honestly don't super know how frequently it shows up. So that's kind of what I want to do today. I kind of want to just start researching this, because it's been a while since I've looked at EXT. And we'll learn a little bit about it. Let's start with good old Wikipedia. Let's see what Wikipedia say about EXT file system. EXT file system. Extended file system. It was created specifically for the Linux kernel, so I didn't lie about that. Has a metadata structure traditionally inspired by Unix file systems, and was designed by Remy Card. Oh, was that the Minix guy? Oh no, he's working for Minix. Who did Minix? I forget. Yeah, this guy, right? Yeah, he wrote Minix. So I guess this guy. Oh, he was working off of the Minix. Right, makes sense. So you start with Minix and then build off of it. It was the first implementation that used the virtual file system. I actually don't know the difference between virtual and physical, so let me look at that too, because I actually want to get that sorted out. Can handle up to 2 gigabytes. Ooh, fancy. So you have EXT2. Of course, we are up to EXT4 now. That's really all they have, though. They don't really talk about the specifics of how the file system worked or its features or any of that. Unless it's like an EXT4. Yeah, it looks like the details are in the specific article. Before I go on, let me figure out virtual file system. Virtual file system on top of a more concrete file system. Okay. Well, this will be a good idea. Let's make a look at this. That's not the image I saw. Where's this image? Weird. Can I get this guy? There we go. Okay. So what's going on here? So this is showing you an overview of everything that gets written. So over here are the standard file systems, I guess, as well as SquashFS, which I think is used on boot, if I remember right. So SMB, network file systems and stuff. Yeah, this is just an overview. I'm looking for details of why is EXT considered a virtual file system. Single virtual file systems. I'm not going to get much here. Let me try Google Scholar. Maybe I'll get a better, more fleshed out kind of paper there. EXT4. Let's just start with file system. Maybe we can get just the new EXT. Old paper. Let's check it out. Maybe we can learn something from it. You can learn a surprising amount from like old papers that were kind of released at the time, because that's when it's new and they really give you a lot of details. So the primary goal of EXT4 is to address the performance and reliability issues we're faced with EXT3. Common question is why not use XFS or start entirely new from scratch? You want to give large to eat, right, for upgrade purposes, right? Should be backwards compatible. Makes sense. So there are probably better file systems on EXT4, but I guess this is kind of like a happy middle ground for now. Excuse me. Right, so the size is always going to be kind of a limit of your file system. So let's see. 32-bit block numbers. I don't know what that is. Let me see. Block numbers. Nope. No system. Block numbers. Oh, they're talking about... Got it. So data is organized in blocks of data, right? So like, if you ever open up something like FTK or something, and you just see like the amount of blocks, that's kind of like how many sectors are on that drive. Usually block size is 1024, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that. Or actually it might be arbitrary. It might depend on the system that you're using. But the block number is presumably just a number that points to a particular block that is allocated on the disk. Okay. So it sounds like there used to be smaller block numbers, now they have bigger block numbers, so they can address more spaces. That makes sense. So in other words, if you set like an integer limit, and you have maybe you start with address x0 and you go all the way up to 0x, I don't know, FFFF something, right? However many bits you have. This would be 1 byte, 2 byte, 3 byte, 4 byte. So in this case, this would be a 4 byte block number. So it looks like a 4 byte, which would be how many bits? 4 times 8, right? So that's 4 times 8. Why am I blanking on this? 32, right? 32. Okay, so this is... So I actually hit by mistake. This is a 32-bit block number. So it sounds like this is where the file system would kind of end on that system. That's the last block of that system. So it sounds like for EXT4, they just expanded this a little bit to 48 bits, which would be 7 bytes, right? 7 bytes. So we have 4 bytes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 byte, 1 byte, 2 byte, 3 byte. Right? And that's your new file system number. All right, makes sense. What else they say? After extending, I don't care about block numbers anymore. I get the idea. Extents. The EX3 uses indirect block mapping scheme, provided one-to-one mapping from logical blocks to disk blocks. Nice for small files, has a high overhead for large files, performing poorly on especially large file delete and truncate operations. Now that is kind of a key of our research, so I want to focus in on large file delete and truncate options. But that's okay. We'll look into that once we understand deletion. Extents mapping is included in EXT4. Maps logical to physical blocks of large continuous files. An extent is a single descriptor which represents a range of continuous physical blocks. Okay, so figure 1. Okay, so you have a particular block. This points to the index node, the inode, which would be like a particular file. That'll point to, a particular folder. So folder, file, and then the file maps to a certain disk block on the disk. Okay, making sense. Large number of large files. Sorry, I skipped over one. So the solution, there was obviously a limit with the EXT3 blocks. So it looks like they just increased the iBlock size. First part, yeah. So simply changing the iBlocks units in the EXT4 inode to file system blocks. I said that sentence. I don't think I understood what it means. Changing the iBlock units to file system blocks. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna have to read up on that. Large number of files. Some have billions. In theory, can support billions of files. Right, that's determined by the block number that we just talked about. Makes sense. The maximum number of subdirectories is 32,000. Huh, why? And EXT just shows unlimited. I wonder what the reason for that is. In order to better support large directories, the directory indexing feature will be turned on by default. Oh, okay. So there was an indexing feature. Let me read that reference. So let's go to 6 here. Directory index for EXT2. We might not find this on Bulltry. Looks like it's a book. Or probably a, what do you call it? A journal of some sort. Oh, no, it's here. Cool. Let's take a look. This is describing EXT2. Does it say anything about, what was I even just looking about? Let's see that. Something. Oh, that's right, this guy. Directory indexing feature. Right. Let's see, indexing. Okay, there's a couple. Directory, let me try directory indexing, be a little more specific. Hashing in its specific application to directory indexing is a subject to which an entire paper and perhaps should be devoted. I don't know how that passed peer review. Am I losing my brain here? Hashing in its specific application. No, sorry, not saying that wrong. Hashing in its specific application to directory indexing is a subject to which an entire paper and perhaps should be devoted. No, this guy fucked up. I don't know what he was thinking here. Hashing in a specific cached index. Oh, is this what I'm talking about? H3. Okay, so I should have, I mean, you probably could have found this in the rest of the paper, but whatever. I found it in the conclusion. The H tree, a uniform depth hash key tree, is a unique kind of data structure. Okay, so they use some kind of hash tree to, I guess, keep track of indexes in the directory, right? So that's kind of like, I guess, um, what do you want to call it? Signatures of files, right? I don't know if it's a hash value of the file. I'd be curious to figure out what they're actually hashing to do that. Maybe it's the hash of the block number. I'm not sure, but clearly they keep some metadata about the file in a directory indexing thing, which is great for investigators because that means that stuff is all recoverable, right? Somewhere in the log somewhere. Okay, there's some cool stuff there. Do I want to read this paper? I'm getting a little overwhelmed here. Let me try to take a step back and just look at EXT in general. So what are the questions I really want to answer? I want to answer what tools work with EXT. I want to figure out how I can recover stuff from EXT, and how does EXT delete stuff? Let me see if I can answer the first question. So how does I forgot what the first question was. Let's just do the last question. How does EXT delete files? Start with good old Stack Overflow. Just mark spaces free. Well, yes, I know that, but how does it actually do that, dumbass? I'm assuming it's the E5 byte, because that's what it is on other file systems. E5 byte. Byte code E5H. That file system allows for files to be undeleted because of the way it deletes files. Right, so that's for FAT. That's what I remember, the FAT file system, right? Just a simple one. Does this apply to EXT, though, is my question. Let's ask it again. How does EXT delete files? That's disappointing. Maybe I can Google Scholar this one, because it's not giving me any specifics here. It's just giving me kind of like random, what do you call it? It's just kind of giving me random tidbits here. EXT force. Secure data deletion. Maybe this will help me. Use properties, characters. Okay. Sounds promising. Secure deletion by layers. Anything about EXT? Okay, so this is explaining how you can delete data securely. So it sounds like for ext4, you can't update it. Filling, I don't know what filling is. Filling is a user approach. Securely deletes the data blocks. I guess just filling it up with a new file, right? I guess that's what it's saying. Zeros tail, so literally replacing what zeros. File data, file metadata. Oh, okay. So they're saying the actual file data can be securely dated, but it looks like the metadata can't be. That's interesting. Do I have anything else on ext4? I really want to just know how it deletes the damn files. I might have to go back to my textbooks on this one, honestly. Because I know there was a section on file system. You know what? Let me pull up that textbook, actually. It's on Oh, you know what? I had it in my last video, I think. No, no, I didn't. Frick, what was that? You know what? I'll find it here. Because I know I gave it to somebody. No, I don't want to embarrass people. Let me not do that. I'll just look for it. Frick, what was the damn author of that book? Computer Forensics Investigations, I think, is the book name. Textbook. This is the one, I think. Yeah, Bill Nelson. Bill Nelson, that's right. Bill Nelson, PDF. Oh, that's an older version of the book. Can I find a newer one? I guess not. Okay. Investigator's office, laboratory, Windows, DOS files. Perfect. Not perfect because it covers NTFS but not EXT. Son of a bitch. Yeah, this is the old version. I'm gonna have to look in the new version of the book. Okay, well, I'm coming up on 8 o'clock anyway, so maybe I should cut things short here. So I'm gonna do here. I didn't get to read this. What's this paper about? Paper continues to consider characteristics and behavior of the modern system. It's just a comparison. I don't care. I want the details. I want to know how it works. That's a pain in the ass. Do they have like documentation? Like, I can't believe I didn't ask that first, right? Shouldn't I have looked at the documentation for EXT4 maybe? I don't know. Oh right, I was gonna look at tools. Let me see. An EXT journaling tool? EXT journal tool. I know journal CTLs on a live system is gonna work, but that sucks. Maybe autopsy can do it. I have a feeling it can because I know it. I know it pulls a lot of that stuff out. At least in the time when I've looked at the timeline mode. So I'll look into EXT on autopsy. I think that's going to be one thing I want to look into. I'm going to look into the details of how it deletes files in that book. And hopefully that textbook will provide some more high-level details on how it does it. Where was it in this paper? No, I was going to read that. Oh, here's some tools. Log dump. Okay, that makes sense. Just export the journal. Okay, well, we learned some cool stuff about ESC. We learned about the journaling system, how it kind of like changed from EXT3 to include some more files, like addressing and stuff like that. What else does it say in Wikipedia that I might have missed? That's cool. Unlimited number of directories. That's an interesting feature. I wonder how it became unlimited. Question for another stream. Has write barriers by default. Ensures the system data is correctly written in order and does even when write caches with power. Oh, that's cool. Improve timestamps. I was curious about this. Windows can access XT64. Really? It doesn't work on my machine, at least the last I looked. And Mac uses EXT4. That makes sense. Alright, I think that's enough research for now. It's coming up on 8 o'clock, so, and now it showed up again, so let's call that here. We'll do some more research on EXT file systems in the coming days. I'm hoping to put together a video on that one, just so I can learn a little bit about it too. It's been a little while since I've done a deep dive on file systems. All right, to anybody who might be watching this in the past, thanks for sticking with me. I hope you learned a little bit of something, or at least got to see how I research things. Maybe that'll help you in your research when you write those research papers next week, or this week rather. Already forgetting that we're ending the class soon. Goodness gracious, how time flies. All right, let's go ahead and stop the stream then. See you